News Conference and SFL Radio. I'm Mikey V.
I'm Shane Graham.
And I'm Dan Brooks.
All right, we brought Dan Brooks on. As everyone knows, SFL Radio is sponsored by UFC Jim Norfolk. So we brought the general manager, Dan the Man, on. Hooked us up last fight, SFL 38, as a guest host. He did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I missed the fight. I had some stuff going on. But here I am.
Hey, we're glad to have you back too, Mikey. We're also glad to have you back here for SFL Radio. This is such a cool combination. We're doing the press conference and an SFL Radio episode.
It's a little different. So Mr. Sham couldn't be here today, so we decided to make it an episode, and we'll call in some fighters. We're going to be doing some phone-in interviews. We've got some fighters that are going to be coming on. We're here at Mona Lisa Bar and Grill on Military Highway in Norfolk.
Yep, and next weekend, next Friday, we're going to be out at Kelly's Tavern, Laskin Road for the SFL 39 weigh-ins, 5:30 to 7:30 is the weigh-in time. You also want to make sure that you get out there and support your favorite fighters. Get your tickets if you haven't gotten so now. We're going to have tickets on sale out there. And of course, the day after, Saturday.
That's it, big day.
June 22nd, Ted Constant Convocation Center, Norfolk, Virginia, SFL 39.
I do have bad news.
What's that?
I'm not going to be there. What? I know.
Man.
So we'll break it here. So this is, as everybody knows, my DJ career is coming to an end. I got the business. Everything's been crazy. So this is prior obligation before I was even involved in starting Fight League. So unfortunately, myself and Chris will not be there. Dan, I think, is just going to sit up on the riser. We're going to hold our spot. But he's not going to hold it down. We won't be doing an episode. It'll be probably the only fight that we've not done an episode. But it won't happen again, I promise.
Hey, but at least we're doing an episode tonight here at Mona Lisa Bar and Grill.
Make it up for it.
Military Highway. Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned. We're going to bring on some fighters. We're going to call some fighters. We'll get some questions. If you have any questions, SFL Radio Podcast at gmail.com. Send them in to us. We'll get you guys hooked up. All right. We are back. SFL Radio, SFL 39 press conference at Mona Lisa.
That's a whole lot of...
I know. I got to throw it all in there.
That's a whole lot of SFL goodness right there.
It is. It is. So we are joined by Maceo Bobs.
Get a little bit
Get a little closer.
next to the Hoya.
Hey guys. Hey. And this is your MMA debut, correct?
This would be my
Get a
debut.
little bit in there.
And where are you fighting out of?
Out of Norfolk, Virginia.
You nervous?
So we got the hiding place.
Just more of the fear, you know.
155-pound weight division in Maceo Bobs. You're going to be taking on a true veteran of the sport. This guy goes back...
2009.
2000, yes. I was going to say 10 years ago, I was his opponent, Dustin Cheney. I was calling his fights over 10 years ago when I pretty much, kind of when I first got into this business and started, doing fights, doing the announcing, the play-by-play. I actually called some of his fights. He fought at the Cage Fest Extreme. Those were some of the very early Spartica days. We'll have to have Jimmy tell the story of the whole Spartica and the whole name battle that he had and how he became
We actually did
Spartica.
that on a prior podcast.
Yeah.
If you listen, you'll hear that. But we'll ask him again. Have you looked into your opponent at all?
Just what I took from the social media. Not too much, though.
He's worried about you.
Maceo, this being your first, I'm Dan Brooks. This being your first MMA fight. What kind of mental preparation did you put yourself through for this? Was it different from what you traditionally done? This being your first MMA fight? Being that I come from a family of military, joined the military myself right out of high school.
It's a rough ride. It's
When
always
you're coming into, I guess, a situation that you're not really familiar about, that's something that you're always going to be prepared for.
yeah.
Coming into situations and I guess not really stressing about
Big cat. So yeah, they ride smooth.
the
But
downside
outside of
of
that,
it. Mainly preparing my mind to just come in there and win, be a champion. Right. It's a great mentality. I guess I really didn't do anything different except for just set my mind up that to come in and be a champion. Good mentality to have. Winning is good, man.
How long have you been training for this?
So previously I've done Spartan races that we came back.
Yes.
So started doing those maybe 2 years ago. So pretty much been training to do that, and then when I finally got the okay that I was going to be fighting, I just keep training a little bit.
And what really prompted that? You know, you said you were doing Spartan races. That's a bit of a stretch going from doing, you know, extreme races to going in there inside of the cage, having the door locked. You know, that's a different kind of test of your mettle right there, your fortitude. What really kind of, you know, what made you change and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself like this?
Honestly, I kind of always had a background in fighting. Unfortunately, in school, you know, I was kind of that kid that would fight. Right. I did do a little martial arts when I was over in Germany. So coming over to Virginia and Columbia, having that opportunity to go out and try and make a name.
What service were you at? So you excited about next week?
That's literally the way it went down.
Have you been in the Ted Constant Center yet?
I have actually when I saw I think the Fight for the Warriors last year. Actually, that's when I first met Jimmy and everything. And I had kind of put the bug in his ear. Well, my dad did. I put the bug in his ear that I'd probably be coming back entering the cage myself. So now I'm fine. Is your dad pretty excited about you? Yes. And you guys see him.
Yeah, that walkout's gonna be when you're actually out there on the stage walking out. It's gonna be a little different.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to your opponent? I'm sure he's gonna watch.
I hope he's been training because I have. I'm ready. Let's get it done.
Well, he hasn't fought since 2014 was his last fight, so kind of a question mark there, but it's been 5 years and all can happen, so we'll see what he brings to the cage.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you inside of the cage June 22nd, Ted Constant Convention Center, SFL 39, Maceo. Wow!
We'll see it when. Alright. We are back, SFL Radio, SFL 39, take 2, Maceo Pops. We're doing this again because Shan's not here, so music's feeding into the mixer. You know we don't do that with SFL Radio. And I hit the mute button. It still recorded it in the program, we never could hear it. So basically, it was just 10 minutes of music. That's it.
He was. Sounded great.
But you were nervous, so now you can do it again. You got to practice.
Yeah, you got the nerves out of the way?
Yes, I have.
So for those of you that don't know, Maceo Pops, or Maceo, is it Maceo or Maceo?
It's Maceo.
Maceo.
You need to remember that.
I definitely need to remember that. It's all in the enunciation.
And you were fighting out of Norfolk?
Yes.
For your MMA debut.
So this being like your first MMA fight that you've ever had, was there any kind of like special training that you did or adjusting it to that mentally? How did you mentally prepare yourself for this fight coming up? Really, being that I never fought before, it was just setting my mind up to come in here and be a winner of the knowing that if you want to take this a little further, this first fight is going to say a lot actually. Yeah, it's Mark. Carrying myself as a champion.
What gym do you train? Do you train out of a specific gym or?
No, not necessarily. I do have an uncle and my dad who martial arts and kind of take care of your training.
So they'll be in your corner?
Yes. My dad will be. My uncle may not be able to make it, but my dad will be.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SFL 39 press conference and SFL radio show. God, I love the fact that we do those together.
We only did this once, remember? In Eden. We did this.
Yes, God bless. That was a long time ago. That was North Carolina, one of our first shows, and that was, I forgot how much fun this is.
Yeah.
Hey, but we're here for the press conference at Mona Lisa Bar and Grill, Military Highway, there in Norfolk, Virginia. Come on out, get yourself something to eat, something to drink, and hear about some of your favorite fighters. And the upcoming SFL 39 show, I'm Shane Graham, joined by
Mikey B, and my co-host Chris Alani is not present today. However, I have Dan the Man Brooks, UFC Gym Norfolk, one of our sponsors for SFL Radio, general manager, also quite the fighter himself.
Yes, just a little bit. I'm filling in for Chris. I kind of look like him. So.
Kind of. And in the 185-pound weight division, we are joined up here with one of our competitors, Lydell Young Guns Pogue. How you doing, Lydell?
Doing pretty good, man. How about you?
Doing awesome. Glad to have you up here at the SFL 39 press conference and the SFL radio show. The two great tastes that taste great together.
So this is your MMA debut, or second MMA debut in a row?
But I have a little bit of background in amateur
Okay. So you're familiar with combat sports. You're familiar with getting your hands on somebody. That push and pull effect, I guess, would be the best way to really describe it. And the adrenaline dump that you get as well. And so this is obviously your mixed martial arts debut. You've seen the Sparta brand before. You've been to the Ted Thompson Convocation Center, seen the atmosphere, seen the ambiance. What does it mean for you to make your mixed martial arts debut and arguably the biggest show here on the East Coast?
Actually, you know what? I'm glad you asked me this question, man. It actually means a lot because I go to Old Dominion, so I see the TED every single day. And to be completely honest, man, I felt like this was my calling for the longest time, man. Like, all my life, been beating dudes up. Why not do it for an audience? You know what I mean? And this is something I can really dedicate myself to. Get in next week.
Have you looked into your opponent at all? For Josh?
So, Lydell, putting this into perspective, this being your first MMA fight, hopping into this big stage and the Sparta Fight League, how much time did you spend training and preparing for this fight?
So I tried to wait out like maybe 2 times a day, 2 days from the overall. So, but I ended up doing also like 40 because I was 195. So I cut it to 195. And right now I'm around like 187, 188. Taking it slow. Awesome. All this stuff is statement.
Well, you look ready. You look confident.
I'm so ready, man. I've never been more ready for something in my life, man. Just gotta get out there and dance. That's what it is.
That's that simple. It really is.
No, it really is. And you got that home turf feel there, which is we have some other fighters that are ODU alumni, and they definitely get that home turf vibe there, which is cool.
Yeah, man, and I'll have like a lot of Old Dominion support out there too, man.
So, I mean, this is the first in obviously what you expect to be a long journey. Where do you see yourself going? I mean, you've been watching the show for a long time. I mean, you see ODU all the time. You're actually fighting at ODU. What are some of your aspirations? Where do you see yourself going in this sport?
In the least possible. I'm going to be a world champion. It's set in stone. Like, you know what I mean? I got my mind set on it. I'm determined. I'm at 185 right now, but I'm pretty sure I can make 170 once I get in. So right now, getting there and on the amateur circuit, man, until someone shows some interest and taps into his potential. That's all I can do. But mark my words, man, one day.
Well, if you're getting down to 170, I think you'll probably be interested to watch that 170 title fight that's coming up all week. See if that's something you want to maybe look at for the future.
That's going to be an awesome fight. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to pretty much every fight on this card. Even though they're not necessarily very well-known names, it's the guys like this that are up and coming and hungry that really have something to prove. And we look forward to seeing what you have to offer inside of there, Mr. Lydell Young Guns Pogue. Going to be fighting 185 pounds, SFL 39, Ted Thompson Convocation Center, June 22nd.
Anything else you want to say to your opponent real quick?
Let's give the people a show, man. Get in there and love it.
Love your attitude.
Yeah.
All right, looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. We'll see you inside of the cage.
All right, good luck to you, man.
Welcome back to the SFL 39 press conference and SFL radio episode. I am Mikey V.
I am Shane Graham.
And I'm Dan Brooks.
And we are joined here by a competitor in the 205-pound weight division, Evan, the Silverback Stevens. How you doing, Evan?
Doing good, thanks for having me.
Excellent. Thanks for being here.
So Evan, this is your first MMA fight?
Yes, sir.
Third in a row?
Third one.
We have a lot of new names to this fight, which it's funny, we were talking about that earlier. There's a lot of new names to Spartacus Fight League, but, a lot of our well-known names were new names at one point.
You betcha.
And I think a lot of times, some of those are the best fights because you get this new blood in here, they're hungry, they got something to prove, and we always end up getting an awesome fight out of it. So I'm really looking forward to this just because the amount of newness that's on this card.
Absolutely. I'm also looking forward to this fight, too, because of some of the gyms that are being represented here.
Yep.
I mean, and that's one thing that we never have a shortage of, are very well-known, very well-established gyms with some amazing coaches, amazing talent training these people here training out of Team Gustavo Machado, a very well-known staple in the SFL circuit, in the mixed martial arts circuit. Team Gustavo Machado, very big name. So what does it mean for you to compete here on SFL for your MMA debut?
I mean, it means everything. Just the beginning of my career. That's how I look at it. Yes, sir.
What made you decide to jump in the cage?
I've always been a street fighter. I love fighting, and it's the right fit for me. Just natural.
I mean, so do you have any other combat sports experience? I'm sure training out of Team Gustavo Machado, you've been to a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. You're not unfamiliar with the fight game. You said you did any street fight. Have you done any formal kickboxing, Muay Thai? Or is this just something, hey, I want to get in there and test my mettle?
Pretty much, yes, sir. I wrestled in high school, but other than that, I mean, I'm fairly new to jiu-jitsu and white belt still. So, we're going anywhere.
So you said you wrestled in high school. Obviously, it was really easy for you to adapt to the jiu-jitsu game.
Yep, exactly.
So when you went into the whole striking aspect and added that to your training, were there any struggles that you had, or anything that did it feel natural to you?
Yeah, it felt pretty natural. Just practice.
And your opponent has, he's fought for us, correct?
Yes, Terrell.
Terrell. Have you looked into him at all?
I think I saw one of his fights.
Okay.
I think he lost. He got checked out or something.
Okay.
Yeah, Terrell fought with us at SFL 33 and again at SFL 37, the last SFL. He fought against Richard Humpert. So he's coming back looking to come back and redeem himself, make a name for himself. It's always neat when we have fighters coming back, but like you said, it's always neat when we have somebody that's coming in that's eager, young, hungry, and looking to make a name for themselves. And I think we have that here.
And he has no idea what to expect of you.
Yeah.
That's the good thing, right? Yeah. The element of surprise.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you out there for your first fight. You have anything you want to say to your opponent?
Good luck. God bless.
All right. Well, good luck to you, and we will see you next week.
All right, good luck to you, man. Good luck to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SFL 39 press conference and SFL radio show here live. Mona Lisa Bar and Grill, Military Highway, Norfolk, Virginia. I'm Shane Graham, joined by
Mikey V.
And Dan Brooks.
And we are on the phone live with one of our competitors, 145-pound weight division, Mr. Clay Bucci. Did I get your last name right?
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
All right, Clay. So you're fighting Dakota Donald, 145. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing to prepare for this fight.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What was that?
Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing to prepare for the fight.
Just getting in the gym, working hard, putting my time in, putting work in. I've had some training partners, so that helped. My coach is amazing. Just working hard, dude.
So this is obviously your SFL debut. Is this also your mixed martial arts debut?
Yes, it is.
What's the fourth one?
Yeah, another one.
Yeah.
We were just commenting, this is the fourth fighter in a row that is MMA debut. So a lot of new blood, very exciting.
So Clay, this being your first MMA fight, how hungry are you, man?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready. I've been waiting for a while, so just looking forward to getting in there and doing some work.
What made you want to get into the MMA atmosphere?
I've always thought about doing it, and I'm originally from New Jersey, and I trained a little bit, in New Jersey. When I got to North Carolina, I didn't really have anything to do, so I hopped in the gym one day, and just that was it.
Nice.
So we know you're hanging out there with Jacob Lamb, who we're also going to talk to. Have you been training with Jacob?
Yeah, every day.
Awesome. Was there anything you want to say to your opponent Dakota?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know his name until you just said it. So I got nothing to really say. You know, it's going to be an exciting fight. I look forward to it, and hopefully he comes ready.
Yeah, let your skills do the talking when you step inside of the cage at SFL 39.
All right, brother. We'll see you next week. We'll see you at the weigh-ins on Friday. Good luck, and if you can put Jacob on.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. Serious.
Yep.
Mr. Clay Bucci, everybody.
Jacob, you on?
Yep, I'm right here.
How's it going, brother?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, good. So you are live here at Mona Lisa Bar and Grill in Norfolk. We got you on SFL Radio as well. So #1 contender fight. You're going up against Chris Simpson, 170. How you feel?
Feeling pretty good. Feeling real good.
You should. You're coming off a 3-win streak, so.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, fighting against a really tough guy in Chris Simpson. Obviously, this is going to be for the #1 contender spot. You're probably going to be fighting the winner of our 170-pound title between Zach Kraft and Craig Willingham. What does it mean for you if you come out victorious come Saturday, and or not this Saturday, or next Saturday? Yeah, next Saturday.
What was the question?
I said, you know, how does that feel to you? You know, you're on a 3-fight win streak. You're fighting for the #1 contender status. You're right on the cusp for fighting for an SFL title. How does that feel? What does that mean to you? Have you done anything differently in your training to prepare yourself for success?
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's nothing different. It's just another fight. You don't hype it up bigger than it is. Hype yourself out. Just another fight. I'm not looking forward. I'm not looking past it. I'm not thinking about the title shot or anything. I mean, I got to get to this one first. But not having to do anything different. Just same stuff. Don't change the game. Don't change my game up. Just work harder and get better at it and improve it.
So Jacob, anything that from your last fight that you had that you felt like you needed to improve upon, did you kind of sharpen up some skills in particular areas, or you just kind of improve overall for your training?
I think you always take something away from your previous fight. If you're not trying to improve every fight, then you're doing it wrong. So there's always something you can improve on, no matter what it is. And even little tiny things can make a big difference. So you're always trying to improve the game, and just be ready.
Yeah, it's the small details that really matter with this kind of stuff. So that's a good. Sounds like a good strategy that you got there, man.
All right. Well, we'll see you next Friday. Is there anything you want to say to Chris Simpson? Because he is going to be listening to this, I'm sure.
I don't have anything to say to him.
All right. Well, you'll do that talking to the
Don't send me a friend request on Facebook.
He's not that type, I don't think. All right, brother.
All right, good deal.
We'll see you at the weigh-ins on Friday, and we'll see you in action on Saturday.
Thursday, look forward to it.
We look forward to seeing you inside of the cage. 170-pound weight division, #1 contender status in the SFL welterweight division, Mr. Jacob Lamb.
I said, Tanisha has your card.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. SFL 39 press conference and SFL radio show here live. Mona Lisa's Bar and Grill in Norfolk, Virginia, off of Military Highway. Lots of familiar faces we have out tonight. A lot of new faces. Glad to see you guys all out here. I'm Shane Graham, joined here by
Mikey V.
And Dan Brooks.
And we're joined here with a phone-in caller, one of our competitors, 185-pound weight division, Mr. Tristan Scarborough. How you doing, Tristan?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Now, before we get to your interview, I wanted to also take note that if we're sitting here looking out in the crowd, like I said, we have a lot of new faces. The Spartica bling is out there, with the really, really thick chain and the Spartica logo. I'll tell you that thing is, I don't want to sound cliche, but that thing is pretty hot.
It is.
But the thing about it is I don't see anybody wearing it for more than 5 minutes at a time, because that thing is, and then it gets passed, because I think that thing is just so dang heavy.
You have to have some serious neck strength.
You got to have some serious neck strength and some serious bling to be able to sport that thing. So at any rate, back to our press conference here Tristan Scarborough, training out of Fearless Fighting. This is your MMA debut, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I imagine being out of Fearless Fighting. Fearless Fighting has been represented quite well in the Spartica cage. Have you seen the Spartica brand before? Have you been to the Ted Constant Convocation Center to see the awesome production that is Spartica Fight League?
Yes, I have. It's a great organization. They put on great events. That's what drew me in.
All right. And what made you decide to step in and get your debut?
I've been training for a while, and when you say something to do it, I felt now was the right time.
All right.
So you said you've been training for a while. How long have you been training, leading up to this fight?
Around 3 years, but I've only been ready for a year.
Okay, so you kind of feel like it's time to showcase your skills a little bit and show everybody what you have, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Professor really started up my skills, so I feel ready.
Good.
So obviously, you're training against a very high-level competitor coming from another solid gym, the Diego Bispo Academy in Hardy Grassy Muay Thai. A lot of great fighters coming out of there. A couple of our champions are from that as well. Do you know much about your opponent? And have you done anything differently, seeing as how this is going to be your mixed martial arts debut?
I've seen a little bit of this stuff. I know a little bit about it, but I mean, not a whole lot. To be honest, I kind of focus on myself as being my opponent. I don't really worry too much about who my actual opponent is. Because the way I look at it is, you get in there, you're your biggest opponent. So that's kind of what I work with.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you out there. We got a lot of new fighters that we talked about, a lot of new faces that are fighting for Spartica. That's right. But that usually leads to incredible fights, and everybody's got to start somewhere. So we wish you the best of luck next week. Is there anything you want to say to your opponent?
Good luck.
Man, a few words.
Man, a few words. We'll allow it.
Yes. I like it.
Well, we look forward to seeing you inside of the cage. SFL 39, 22nd of June at Ted Constant Convocation Center. We also look forward to seeing you at the weigh-ins, Kelly's Tavern in Virginia Beach off Alaskan Road. For the weigh-ins, SFL 39. This is going to be a good fight. 185-pound division, Tristan Scarborough.
All right, Tristan, thanks for calling in.
Good luck to you, man.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Welcome back to SFL 39 press conference and SFL Radio. I'm your host, Mikey V.
I'm Shane Graham.
And I'm Dan Brooks with no glasses on.
Because with all of our fabulous fighters that couldn't be here today that usually wear sunglasses.
Yeah, I'm channeling my inner Samson Saucer.
Right.
My inner
Marshall.
My inner Marshall Shermer.
That's right. So we did some call-ins. We had some local fighters come out, which is awesome. So there isn't a lot of fighters out today, but I want to thank the ones that came out. The reason is a lot of our fighters are coming from gyms outside of the area today. So there's a lot of people coming in from out of town. Thank you guys for coming out today. Thank you guys for fighting, putting on a good show coming up next week. I'm super excited about it. We got the weigh-ins Friday.
Yes. Alaskan Road, Kelly's Tavern.
So we'll be there. SFL Radio will not sadly be at the fight, unfortunately. So for all you first-time fighters, usually after you're done fighting, we have our own cool little riser booth in the back. You get to come sit down with us, do some post-fight interviews. Unfortunately, you're getting robbed of that. I apologize for that, but we will make it up to you. We will definitely be at SFL 40, TKO for the Tatas, August 10th. It's one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah, I love the TKO for the top.
The most energy. Awesome. Oh, it's incredible. They do the pink ring, pink gloves, everything's for breast cancer. Yep. So we're excited about that, but we will be back, and we're going to be ramping up episodes. We've been a little slow with SFL Radio this year, just because of everything going on with my business and Jimmy retiring and everything else. But we're coming back strong. So make sure you go on YouTube, SFL Radio, subscribe to the Spartica Fight League channel. We have our own channel on there.
Man, I had a really good time. Thanks for letting me come out.
Thanks, Dan Brooks.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
You're a regular with SFL now. Like you've come out to the fights, you've cornered fighters, you've been on the show, you've hosted the show. So thank you for all that UFC Jim Norfolk does for Spartacus Fight League and Spartacus Fight League Radio. You are our official podcast sponsor.
Well,
so
we
we'd
are
like to
extremely
thank you.
grateful to be a part of your podcast and NFL Radio, man. 100%.
Next time, bring glasses.
I will. I feel left out, but that's all right.
And then 22nd, Ted Constantine.
Yes. Doors open at 5:30.
Yes.
Prelims are going to be starting at 6:30. First fight is slated to start at 7 o'clock. Or excuse me, our main portion of the card is going to be starting at 7 o'clock.
We got a lot of fighters that are like doing their first MMA fight, so it should be super exciting.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Always coming in hungry, looking to prove something, looking to make a name for themselves in the cage and on arguably the biggest stage here on the East Coast. I'm going to go ahead and say it just now.
Yeah.
On the East Coast, not in just Virginia. One of the biggest productions. If you haven't been out to the Spartacus Fight League, definitely make it out, or you can catch us live on Fight TV. If unfortunately you can't make it out, you can watch the pay-per-view.
I will be while I'm on, my work trip. But we will also, we got 13 fights that night, and we have 3 more in the shoot as possible. So we got a great card, and the card changes constantly, and we'll see what happens Saturday night.
I'm excited. I'm excited, man.
So am I. So thank you for joining us out here at Mona Lisa's Bar and Grill. Look forward to seeing you at the weigh-ins next Friday and next Saturday, Ted Constant Convocation Center.
We should have called Jimmy.
Yeah, I
Jimmy
know.
Parker couldn't be here tonight. Jimmy Parker is speaking at a retirement ceremony for one of his shipmates, which is pretty awesome. After a long retirement, maybe career. So he did tell me to tell everybody that he said hello and thank you for coming out and showing support.
Yes, thank you to our fighters. Thank you to their coaches and trainers. And thank you to the fans. We'll see you inside of the cage.
All right?
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, this is hurting my neck. I see why you guys.
I was going to ask you, like, during the interview, I was like, how does